Patriot Front right there. There's these guys. A lot of people on the right claim that they're feds because they wear the masks. They obviously don't have good optics, and or unless you believe that they do have great optics and you really like their message. So we're seeing something interesting with them where, and I haven't seen this before, where, and I don't know if these accounts, how many of them are actually real accounts, how many of them are bots or fake, but you're seeing a weird kind of surge in support amongst some right-wing accounts for Patriot Front, and people coming out and saying they don't believe they're feds. Big accounts too. Jake Shields, who's a former MMA fighter, obviously has a huge Twitter account. He's actually interviewed Patriot Front, the founding member, I think his name's Thomas Rousseau, before, and he claims they are not feds. He seems to really like them. So you had them marching in D.C. I don't think anything crazy happened. They just basically marched through the streets. Excuse me. Elon Musk commented on this earlier today, and this is sort of along the lines of my thinking with it, which has always been the same with Patriot Front. He says it's just another SPLC false flag operation. Okay. So what does that mean? Why are people saying they are? They aren't feds. Nick Fuentes is not happy with them. Nick Fuentes is actually calling it a costumed Nazi parade here. Here he gives his take on Patriot Front. I have always maintained that I don't believe they are feds, whatever that means, but that the activism they are known for is counterproductive. So he talks a lot about, which is also my thoughts on them, how he leans more towards it seems stupid to form a right-wing organization with masks where everyone has your name on a roster and you're going out and organizing, because he sort of cautions that it's going to lead to some type of violence. It's going to look negatively on people. He doesn't understand the enticing factor of parading around as essentially what he sees as fake Nazis, which to me is really important. Should I read anything here? Nick says, that being said, it's a safe assumption that Patriot Front is infiltrated by confidential informants at the minimum, as are all radical political organizations. Here's sort of what I would say. And there are people on social media saying, oh, well, if they're... What was my point? Oh, if they're a Psyop, like what's the point of the Psyop, you know? So here's my take on it. The Psyop is not to affect real change. It's essentially just to create negative imagery and attach it to Republicans, attach it to conservatives, okay? So one thing that you'll notice about the Patriot Front, for instance, is when they march, this actually isn't the best picture, but when they march, they'll often have their flags almost pointed upwards. It's not like a traditional, usually when you see people walking with American flags, they're sort of waving, they're sort of almost horizontal. So they make a big scene out of pointing the flags upwards, right? Which is, I think I have it here. Here's some imagery of the Third Reich, right? What do we see in this picture? We see a lot of flags, kind of almost militaristic in its presentation, and they're all pointed upwards, right? This is the Unite the Right rally that happened back in Charlottesville a couple years back, right? What do we see at that rally? Now, you had people that showed up that people claim were white supremacists. A lot of those people brought tiki torches with them to the rally, right? Why would you bring a tiki torch? It was that dark? Is it that? I mean, certainly you would know, bringing a tiki torch to a rally like that you're evoking imagery that harkens back to the KKK, right? I think that's the whole point of the tiki torch, is to really make it look like almost you're the KKK, right? And I think that's also the point of having so many of the flags sort of pointed upwards in a row in mass formation, is to evoke imagery of Nazi Germany. So why would these organizations willingly want to evoke this type of imagery, right? Well, we recently learned that the SPLC, as Elon Musk points out, I think they're being indicted currently by the DOJ for allegedly funneling money from their organization, which is supposed to be an organization that fights against white supremacy, and they were actually funding white supremacy. For instance, one of the things that they helped organize was the Unite the Right rally. Okay? This is documented. This is one of the complaints, is they had informants who... Now, when you look at this, right, when people say, oh, those are feds, it's not necessarily that everyone there holding a tiki torch was a federal agent. And it's not necessarily that everybody who's in Patriot Front, right, is a federal agent, and that's why they're wearing the masks. These could very well be normal people. They could be white supremacists, right? But their appearance there is inorganic. The organization is inorganic. The ability of rudders to suddenly snap photos of them and know where they're going to be is inorganic, just like the Unite the Right rally was inorganic, right? So the SPLC was funding informants, paying them $250,000 over several years, okay? These informants would go online into these social media groups. They would infiltrate them. They would post racist messaging. They would encourage people to attend the rallies. And they would even provide and organize transportation to and from the rally for these people, okay? And you have Thomas Rousseau, who is the leader of Patriot Front, right? Patriot Front guys. Who just so happens to have been one of the tiki torch bearing people at the Unite the Right rally. He was there, carrying one of the tiki torches, right? My point being that in order for Patriot Front, it's not necessarily that they're all feds, dressing up and creating this whole thing out of thin air. The point is that it's astroturfed. It is created and propped up, likely, in my opinion, by leftist organizations, because all you have to do is create that imagery of white supremacy, and then you can attach it by association to conservatives. You can demand that they condemn it, right? And just the act of repetitively demanding that someone condemn something associates them with it. That's why whenever you see somebody ask, like a news organization asks Trump to condemn something, he doesn't want to do it, right? Because just acknowledging it makes it sort of part of your people, right? He doesn't want to do that because that's the whole game. So it would benefit the Democrats, not necessarily to have everybody there be feds and be staged, but maybe to have Rousseau or someone like that working with the feds to prop these organizations up. And what you're seeing today is a lot of commentary on the speech that he gave. I'll play a little bit of it for you here, which some people online are saying, wow, this is a really great speech, actually. Why can't this guy be on Twitter? You can listen in a bit.
While many are content to celebrate independence on this day, we know what these vapid displays conceal. Our people are not independent. Our destiny is shackled to 100 competing nations imported to this soil, bringing with them countless incompatible interests. Our homeland has been turned into a squalid arena of profiteers and invaders, overseen by a spineless cast of traitorous politicians. We wish for sovereignty and liberty which cannot coexist with the conditions that have been forced upon us. A quarter millennia has now passed since America's violent birth, and nothing I can say will glorify independence more than the blood of our forebears that stains this continent, consecrating it forever.
Now, listen to his cadence when he speaks and the kind of anger in the speech that he's giving. That cadence kind of remind you of anyone? Almost as if he's putting on an act to remind you of a specific person. But I know a lot of people really liked this speech, so you idiots can watch it.
The immortal legacy of the men who died for so noble an objective as sovereignty. So we stand on the turning of an age and the making or breaking of our nation's destiny, and we must iron in their blood and patriotism.
I'm going to skip forward a little bit. This is the clear tell that this is BS, or at least that if he's being earnest, you shouldn't listen to him.
Capable of wielding it justly if we want our country back. We cannot merely speak of policy. We cannot just propose change. We must first impose it upon ourselves. You may read our policy on the calluses of our hands, the scars on our backs, and the sweat of our brow. The future belongs to the men with iron in their blood and patriotism in their heart. We may not look to America's military might, its material wealth, or its depth of natural resources for our shield against subjugation. All this and more has been turned against us, fueling the flames of corruption and disunity. No, it is in our people that we must look. That fealty for liberty that rests only within the blood and spirit of the race which created America and sustains it still, in this and none other lies our salvation. I could list the enemies of our people, from the Jewish cabals to the Mexican cartels, from the African criminals to the homosexual peddlers of vice and exploitation. But I would not desanctify this day further with their description. Their conduct is set, their fates are written. This day is for Americans.
Now, first of all, if you're a white supremacist and you truly believe, like, you're not talking America first, right? You're not talking MAGA. You're talking, no, I think we just need to have white people, right? Is it really in your best interests to look a lot like Hitler and Nazis? Is it really in your best interest to carry tiki torches? Why would you do that? Right? People are saying that's a great speech. It's obviously very memorized. Whether it's written with AI or not, I don't know, but it's very memorized. It's very on point. He has the delivery of an actor. I know this because I used to be an actor. So it's not off the cuff. It's definitely memorized. And to me, this whole thing is essentially, it's Democrat kabuki theater, you know. It's both for the ability to associate conservatives with neo-Nazis, but also it's mainly for the Democrat base, you know, to get them riled up, almost like a form of fan fiction, so that then they got something to talk about. They can go online, talk about these big white supremacist rallies. That seems to be the only function of it as far as I can tell. So I would encourage everyone, you know, he says some stuff. The funny part is he does say some stuff which a lot of people on the right probably would agree with online, especially the stuff about the Jewish cabal, etc., etc. I don't necessarily, but a lot of people I see online talking about that. So he hits on some topics that are going to be popular with a certain demographic of people, but then also slides in a lot of really, actual white supremacist rhetoric, which I don't think is productive or good in any way. Just me.